Alrighty. You know it. You love it. We're back for some more Eliminator content. And we are waiting for 4 people for this Eliminator draft that we're doing today. We got a new hair due today, which is literally me just finding a hair tie, which, that's great. Feel pretty good about that. I'm excited I've been drafting some of the other contests off stream, the new ones in the lobby. Not a big marathon guy, but I'm trying to get, 10 Chihuahuas and 10 or 20 Superflex German Shepherds in before they fill. These small contests, man, they are filling. There's a hunger for these small dollar, $4 entry, $5 entry contests that people are just going wild for them, myself included. I love myself some of these small dollar contests. It's quite nice. Yeah, my voice is a little bit weird today. I just got done with a bit of a strong vocal exercise. So my voice is a little bit perhaps worse for wear than it would normally be, but these things happen. And I don't think it'll be any problems with talking and kibitzing with y'all. We got, where is it? Still waiting on 4 more. It is the night of 4th of July. Happy America Day to everyone watching for, the last 3 minutes of America Day that we got. For those of us on the East Coast, for those of us on the West Coast, we got 3 more hours to celebrate in America. And what better way to celebrate America than ripping some underdog drafts than gambling? Gambling, a core tenet of America, as we all know. Another core tenet of America is making weird noises as you're doing other stuff while you're waiting for the Eliminator to fill. That is, as we all know, a core tenet of being an American. Is not having enough people to do the contest you're hoping to do. Yeah, we haven't had this problem for a little while, but this is not the first time we've had to deal with waiting for the contest. It's interesting because I think for some So You Think You Can Doubt stuff, I think I've really enjoyed talking about it a lot, at least in the early stages of the competition. But as we go on, there's just less that I can talk about before episodes release. So it makes it very difficult for me to update the board, for me to do pretty much any ancillary content around the contest, because I have to make sure that I'm not stepping on any toes with it. So I wish I had some more stuff on that front, but I do not, which is really sad. I'm actually quite surprised. It's been a while since we've had to wait for these contests. So while I'm waiting, let's make some draft picks. This top one, I can't make a pick. That is an extra little thing I do. Hopefully I'll make a video about it later. A little to be announced project that I've been working on. So we'll not look at that one, but we got a couple of little Dalmatian slows for us to be taking a look at. And we're still in the early goings of these little Dalmatian slows. So nothing too crazy has been going on, most likely. This one we started Justin Jefferson, Devon Achane right at ADP. Got a little mini fall on Zay Flowers, and then Josh Jacobs. Pretty much everyone's been right at ADP for this team. So we could be looking at Christian Watson or Tootin is what we're looking at here. And I don't know. when I feel like it's close, I'm going to, in these contests, defer to wide receivers because Eliminator is such a big part of my portfolio. In those contests, I have to defer to running backs. So when I get the chance to defer to wide receivers, I think I will. So here it says Kyron. I don't like Kyron. I really hate Kyron. It says T. Higgins if I don't want Kyron. So we got Saquon, CeeDee Lamb, and then yeah, I mean T. Higgins is in a completely different caliber of player by ADP and by my mental understanding than everyone else here. So seems like a good player to click on. A little bit further in this one, started 4 straight running backs. Hampton, no, we did not. Sorry, we took Amon-Ra St. Brown and then went 4 straight running backs. Hampton, Kyron, Josh Jacobs, and Byshell Tootin. By ADP, it's Jaden or Drake May. By my ranks, I mean by legendary upside ranks from like a week ago, it's Mekhi Lemon. By ADP, it is Tyler Warren. I mean, y'all know that you don't really have to convince me to take Tyler Warren. You don't really have to convince me to take Tyler Warren. I want to take him. I think he's fun. I think he's interesting. But these receivers are looking really bad. But he wants me to take a quarterback. I don't want to take a quarterback here. Yeah, let's just go Tyler Warren. Yeah, with this running back room, we probably have to stop at 4, which kind of feels bad with the way we got the bye weeks situated. But, dug our own grave there. A lot of these, because I'm in 100 of them, I've been sort of deferring to the sidekick if I have to do like 20 or 30 at the same time. And sometimes it leads me to builds that I'm not super comfortable with. But, hence the point of the sidekick, I guess. This says Jadarian Price. My lean is Jadarian Price. Put some youthfulness into this running back room. This is, again, a part of the draft where we hate the receivers. It's a bit early to be taking Daniels. Daniels is a fine pick, I think, here. Let me say. I just think on this particular team, it's a bit early for Daniels. We got another one where we're in the same awful little range where we want Mekhi Lemon every pick. We got Joe Burrow and Drake May showing up. Psychic says Joe Burrow is more important. I want to... Where is the A.J. Brown draft? The A.J. Brown drafter is to my right. So, and obviously the Chase drafter is to my left. So in the very rare instance that I get both of these guys, it is going to be taking Joe Burrow first. And I think he works better, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins. I think that is a little bit cleaner than the Travion stuff. And then here we got Devon A-Chain, Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers. I feel like I've seen this exact team. Oh, no, I've seen this exact team except you switch out Lamb for Jefferson. Which, great. I like these players. But yeah, this time we had the option of Roma Dunze instead of Byshell Tootin. And I went Watson last time, so we're going to go Tate this time. So there's all of our slows. Eliminator obviously hasn't filled yet. We got one more player in the Eliminator since we started. Oh dear. We may be only doing one draft tonight. We'll obviously we'll see what happens with it. I'm not super worried. As long as we get one done tonight, I'll be happy. If we get 2, even better. Yeah. Wonder maybe we make a pick 'em while we're waiting. See if we got any particularly juicy boosts. 30% World Cup boost, 30% Wimbledon boost, 40% on a 3-picker. Is this a 2-pick? Can I 2-pick this? I can. All right. I can't really. I don't know anything about soccer or the World Cup or anything. I'm not a big baseball guy. Oh, I will say, I wonder how my baseball drafts are doing. Sorry, that would be in live best ball MLB. So my bunt 2 is not doing particularly well. Neither are my 3 7 inning stretch entries. One of them's 12th. That's very impressive. Yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing whilst drafting these. Although, almost 250 points in a week off of first place is wild. This one's a lot closer. Everyone's pretty tightly grouped. 30 points off first. And this one, again, like 50 points off first. Yeah, what did I do on this team? So anyone who's just never drafted. This guy's never drafted. And he's scoring a bunch of points for me. I think it was these guys that are injured here at the top. Yeah, like Trout and Aaron Judge, where it's like, yeah, really got hope. You get people in the back, they give you points, and it doesn't look like that's happening. And this is also just the best of the teams from any of the 3 pods right now. So, c'est la vie. Oh, we got another little Dalmatian pick to make. That's the joy of having 100 slows, is like pretty much anytime you do anything away from underdog, another one pops up and goes, oh, I'm here. I'm here. I'm ready to happen. Ready for you to pick me. Oh, yes. Okay. I remember this draft because I remember being like, Neighbors. Neighbors is another player I'm targeting in the little Dalmatian, just because I feel like I'm taking literal 0% of him in the Eliminator. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's a bad player for that format. Better player for this format, so I take him. We're getting a 5-pick drop on Odunze. I wouldn't be mad about. Is there anything else? The other option would be varying price. Really, I think it's a bit of a reach to take Daniels over Odunze, especially when it's like, oh, we may have to fill in some wide receiver production, and Odunze probably can help us do that earlier in the season. So yeah, let's grab Odunze. That feels good. Love it when it feels good. All right, we're at 11 for the Eliminator. We're almost there. That's all we need to be, is almost there. Then, eventually, we'll be there. I'm always curious, if I just sorted by projection, what would it be? Like, how far do we have to go down the quarterbacks before? So, we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 quarterbacks before we get to Bijan. And then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before we get to Gibbs. And then McCaffrey's next, Nakua. Interesting. Obviously, the underdog predictions are like not based in reality, like not based in any understanding of anything, which is obviously very funny. But it is interesting to see, especially in like Superflex contests, how that aligns with people's understanding of who they want to take. Yeah. I also need to make sure that I've got things properly aligned in non-eliminator drafts to be getting Gibbs over Bijan. Because, again, it's great on the non-eliminator things to sort of break ties against the players that I know I'm going to be super overweight on in this format. Just waiting on one person for our draft. I'm tempted to be shameless and type in the Think You Can Tout Discord or the Shameless Promos Discord. What's the worst thing that happens? More likely, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. If we don't get it in the next 5 minutes, I'll start click-clacking around on other places trying to get it done. There we go. All I needed was to stop talking for a second, and then it fills. That's the joy. And we get the 1.1. I was saying so much about my Gibbs thing. I should sometimes take Gibbs 101, I think. What is my Gibbs exposure at? So we've got 1 Gibbs. We've got, what is that, 5 to 5 Bijan. It's interesting. To 1 Chase, 4 Nakua, 2 JSN, 3 Taylor, 2 McCaffrey. Who's after that? Amon-Ra St. Brown. 2 Amon-Ra. 1 CD. 1 Justin Jefferson. There we go. 6 Ashton Genty. And I have successfully not taken James Cook once. So we eventually may be taking James Cook. But I think 1 to 5 is pretty close to the ratio I want. So we'll grab Gibbs this time over Bijan. Need to have some Gibbs in the portfolio. And I don't really think I'm like earlier in the offseason, I would be like, oh, okay, it's fine for me to have Bijan at 2 because I'll get about 50% of the time Gibbs at 50% of the time I'll get Gibbs at 2. Now it's looking like 10 to 20% of the time I get Gibbs at 2, which means I need to take him at some like 20 to 30% frequency at 1, take him every time he falls to 2, and then I can have my Gibbs exposure. Like in a perfect world, I want to have like 3 times as much Bijan as I have Gibbs. And I think this is the way to get closer to that. Nobody that I know in the draft, and not a ton of badges either. We got our first line item. We've heard some positive news on James Cook. Him supposedly being a 3-down back. I'm not sure I believe it, but it is what they're saying there. I personally think that that's pretty at odds with Ty Johnson being the best 3rd down back in the league. But, what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet talking about the Eliminator. I think James Cook is probably going to still obviously have the lion's share of the work there. But I think it's also entirely possible that Ray Davis and Ty Johnson become a little bit more involved. And James Cook is, doesn't run quite as hot on being the one who happens to score the touchdowns. And then he, belongs in the Chase Brown tier. Fine running back on a very exciting offense. Josh Allen's rushing touchdowns have been holding pretty steady. But his passing numbers have been down, if we believe that this offense can get better passing and that we can have more Josh Allen total touchdowns. Maybe some of that comes at the expense of some of the touchdowns that Mr. Cook was getting. But again, what do I know? Let's see. Yeah, everything else looks pretty normal. It's becoming more and more normal for JSN to go after a couple of running backs. I don't really see what people are seeing in the big difference between Nakua and JSN. I don't get it, but there's obviously, like, the market has more confidence in Puka. I guess there's more confidence that the Rams are going to be a better offense, which is fair. But what JSN did last season was just wild. Yep. Not shocking that the James Cook guy takes Chase Brown. I feel like that's relatively predictable. So we've got one guy with no running backs through two. Our brave soldier, Wayne Rab. Or Wayner AB. Wayner AB. I hope that's it. I think that'd be very funny. We're looking at the board. Our ranks, it's a couple of receivers, and then Brees and Javonte by ADP. We have Pickens above those guys. But, yeah, I don't... Why is Pickens going even higher in the Eliminator? Is it just because he falls slower? I don't know. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do a nice solid 3 running back start with Brees and Javonte. I need you, Javonte. So that feels pretty good. And just have a nice, tidy, easy to deal with running back room this time. I think that'll be nice. And I think I remember people talking about not wanting to take Javonte at the 2-3 turn. And I'm like, why not? He's going to get touches early in the season. Jaden Blue is not going to immediately come and steal pass game work. Like, come on. Is that maybe a problem later? And would I not love this price in a back-weighted tournament? Correct. I would not love this price in a back-weighted tournament. But, like, come on. He's going to have the vast majority of the work in an offense with a really easy first couple of weeks. Like, he's not going to be an awful pick, barring injury. He's going to be fine. Josh Jacobs going at 30. You'll love to see it. We're thirsty today. Yeah. Same guy doing this stuff. We got 3 receivers here out of Mr. Wayne Araby. Which we got 2 non-Badgers back to back going no running backs, which is interesting. Definitely a different strategy. Everyone else has at least 1 running back through 3. Or everyone else has at least 1 running back through 3. Kenny the Jet Smith obviously took ETN at 27. Everyone else had 1 running back through 2. I wonder if they'll take running backs in the 4th. I mean, the eliminated running backs in the 4th do not feel great. It's David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift and Quinton Judkins. None of those feel great. I think I may be a little bit low on Montgomery. I think I may need to, I think I need to swap him up to the top of that tier. Just the more we hear and the more we understand about this backfield, the more I'm like, sure, I guess. I don't believe David Montgomery is going to be good, but I do believe he's going to have more of the work than someone like a Bucky or a Bashal Tutin or even a DeAndre Swift. So I'm willing to have him a little bit higher. And I think even Quinton Judkins needs to go beneath him. Maybe we can even do this, where it's like that, because I do see a pretty big break between Bucky and Swift and Tutin. So that's probably where I want those guys to be at. Eliminator. I don't know why I keep doing that. I keep forgetting that I can just leave it up and it does the thing that I want it to do. It's smart. It remembers the draft that I was in. I'm surprised the kick wants Waddle over Mr. McMillan. Seems a bit strange. Yeah, again, I want this upper group here way before. So we'll take Ted. Even with an earlier buy, like, whatever. And do I really have Burden that high? Like, why? I don't know if I agree with that. Why do I have Burden that far ahead of ADP? Like, what is the goal of this? Like, do we really think he's more like these guys than Igbuka and Terry? I think stylistically, maybe. Stylistic, no. I mean, stylistically, he's like Emeka Igbuka, but better. Like, yeah, I think he's Emeka Igbuka, but slightly better. Because he's on a better offense. And, in my opinion, a little bit more locked in to be the team's. He's just locked in to have better production than Igbuka. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I was downloading RDR2, and it is ready to play. So that may be happening after the stream tonight, because I've been told that it is a really, really good game. So I want to actually try it. And I just got the I got some Steam funds, so I'm like, might as well buy it and download it. Actually, that reminds me, I should probably start downloading my next game. That would be helpful. Did the stream just do a weird thing? Or is that my streamer view being weird? So I'm just gonna watch a replay to see if that's the stream being weird or if it's me being weird. La-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-da. Everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. Looks like it's just my streamer view being weird. Yeah. Which, I much prefer that to the alternative. My stream reviews being weird, that's fine. You guys aren't seeing things, then I'm not going to be able to see things on replay, which is not good. That makes me sad. So, thankfully, we don't have that problem. No problems on the stream today. 0 problems. No technical issues. I really hope. I'm really praying for no technical issues. I've had enough of technical issues. I will say the one thing about drafting Terry means it's a bit harder to draft Brian Thomas. It's also hard to draft Brian Thomas if someone else drafts him. I will say that. Man, this room is really like take a quarterback. And don't have to tell me twice to take Drake May. You want me to take Drake May? I'll take Drake May. That's totally fine. And I'll probably take Metcalf unless Psychic pushes up someone who I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should do that. Should I go May and Hurts together? Nah, I want to get Metcalf. I want to start building this receiver room. I think Metcalf's a great way to do that. Nice and simple. I'm liking this team. I really am liking this team. You know, we got Drake May at quarterback, Gibbs, Holland, Javonte at running back, and T-Mac, Terry McLaurin, T-Mac, and DK Metcalf. Feels like a very comfortable team. I think we might try with our second draft, if we get one, to draft a team that we're a little bit more uncomfortable with. That's trying to push things in different directions. But this one feels perfectly reasonable. Like, I had the opportunity to push with taking a 4th running back early, decided to not. Had the option to push with taking 2 early quarterbacks, decided to not. Had the opportunity to push with tight end, decided not to. All of these feel good. Oh, how you doing, Peppertoni? Good to see you. It's nice to have some people that are coming back to the stream, especially with these late night streams. You know, you get a very, very specific crowd that wants to watch some best ball at midnight. So glad to see people showing up and showing out and being in the chat. Always lovely. Pardon me. Always lovely to hear from y'all. But yeah, now this draft has been, I think, pretty reasonable here. We have some 0RB bros, some no badge 0RB bros here, which I think is funny. But I think they're rounding their teams into form pretty nicely. There's no one who I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing? I mean, yeah, I think Allen was taken really early, but Allen has a really early ADP in this format for some ungodly reason. So I can't really. I think to really like shit on drafters, they have to both be doing something that is bad and also, or like that I think is not optimal. It's not my place to say whether or not someone else's drafting is bad most of the time. They have to be doing something that I think is not optimal, and I think it has to be like not backed by either data or an understanding of the game or ADP. Like if you're just clicking the top ADP or someone near the top of ADP, it's really hard for me to be like, oh, this guy's a terrible drafter, because getting ADP value over the course of a season, over the course of a portfolio, that's the word I was searching for, generally not a bad thing. Yeah, I think I agree that one of my picks should be a quarterback, and it should be Brock Purdy. I agree with that. Purdy's got some really strong individual weeks in him, and I want exposure to that. It says Rashad White. My ranks, because I'm not going quarterback, say Jordan Addison, and I'm going to trust my ranking more than the psychic right now. This receiver room needs juice. This running back room, in my mind, doesn't. Like, we can round this out with 2 late picks or another, like, Aaron Jones, Rashad White pick, and I'd rather round this out with 2 later picks and have a better 4th receiver than vice versa. And I think that Jordan Addison just has the ability to be really, really good. Like, really, really, really good. I think. Let me check my email to make sure this is correct, because I have subscribed to the PPR Tyler Substack. I don't really have a lot of Substacks that I follow, but I saw that PPR Tyler did one. I like the guy. I think that he's got some good analysis, especially in areas that I'm not familiar in, like player breakdowns and stuff. So I subscribed, and he's got some interesting points about Jordan Addison. I don't know if I fully agree with all of them, but I do think that Addison is potentially quite underpriced if he is the clear-cut second option on the Vikings. If he's a clear-cut second option on the Vikings, they pass a lot, and he continues his efficiency, he's going to be a good pick where he's going, because where he's going is so freaking cheap. He's, what, a 9th round pick, an 8th round pick? Like an 8th round pick, early 9th round pick? He's going around guys like, I mean, the closest receivers to him are Michael Wilson, who I think is just an awful pick. The wide receiver 2 on the Steelers, Josh Downs, who I think should probably be going before him, but who has not shown anything near what Addison's shown. And then like Jacoby Myers and Ricky Pearsall. Like, it's very understandable if you're like, oh, Jordan Addison, like Parker Washington versus Jordan Addison. What's the difference? Ambiguous number 2s in what we're perceiving to be very good offenses, like good to very good offenses, but we believe the people that are drafting them believe the talent's there. Like, they seem like very similar bets to me, and they're, separated by 2 rounds. So I'm not going to take the one that's super expensive, and I'm going to take the cheap one. Generally a good way to play those sorts of things is you find these like fake arbitrage understandings, and go after the cheaper one aggressively. All right, we're coming up here. JCM would have been cool. Chris Rodriguez is anything but cool. Chris Rodriguez is a necessary evil on some teams. This is not a team where I think Chris Rodriguez is a necessary evil on. Yep, the backstacking of May will continue until morale improves. So we got Romeo Dubs here. We've got the option for some tight ends. We have Shakir. Yeah, let's just go Shakir. It's fine that he has an overlap with Terry. But we're rounding this running back. We're rounding this receiver room into form here in the middle rounds. Go tight ends late. Probably grab a. So it's what? 2 more running backs. Third quarterback probably, but not 100%. That gets us to what? Around 12, 13, 14. And then 3 tight ends and a receiver. Yeah, I mean, a nice typical 3-5-7-3 where you have a bunch of very comfortable clicks. You know, this is just like a very typical Eliminator draft. How we doing? I'm doing great, Mr. No Cap Mac. It's good to see you. All right, let's analyze this. Gree Addison's a good pick at ADP. It's reasonable he goes where he does because he's a clear number 2 behind elite receiver 1, and Kyler's a quarterback. Sure, I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think that, like, if I'm comparing him to Parker Washington again, I think it's very difficult to argue that Parker Washington's average position, let's say, is higher than number 2. I think he doesn't have an elite wide receiver 1, but you know, I think the overall stable of receivers in Jacksonville is bigger, and I think that Kyler and Trevor Lawrence, despite having different expectations coming in, have proven to be reasonably similar quarterbacks. That's why I'm like, I think I'd rather have Addison over Parker Washington. Like, if we're looking at elite, clear number 2 behind an elite number 1 and with mediocre quarterback play, can we find another example of that? Like, we're looking for mediocre quarterback play. We're looking for like Bo Nix down, maybe like Baker, but Godwin is old and not really super exciting. Looking at Shuck, who's number 2 is a rookie. Looking at Cam Ward, it's like, Stroud, there's not really a clear number 2 there. Daniel Jones. I mean, we're taking the number 1. I guess if you're looking at like Tyler Warren and Pierce and Downs, we're taking all 3 of those guys before we're taking Jordan Addison. Yeah, I mean, I think the price is not insane. I'm not like he should be 2 rounds higher. I'm just saying I think he's a good pick at cost. So I think I agree with you there. And maybe I think I'd start to think he's not a great pick at cost somewhere around the beginning of the 8th round. Like if you're making me take him over Reed. Reed's actually a great example. I think Reed's a very similar player. You know. So if you're making, but I think Reed's just better in a lot of ways. His offense is better. His snap share is probably going to be a little bit lower, but I think Reed's a better player on a better offense with a better quarterback. So yeah, if you're making me take him over Reed, I probably stop taking him. So somewhere around the 8.5, 8.6 would be where I'd want him. Correct. Correct. Yeah. I think this is some good debate, but we got to focus on the draft for a second. Aaron Rodgers seems way early. I don't know. We'll take Algier here. I just believe in Algier in this format way more than other people seem to do. I think he's a great pick. And I guess we can round out the wide receiver room with Cooper. I don't think we need to do that. Like, we get some juice there. I'm surprised. Have I influenced the sidekick? Like, has my mental ranks gone into the sidekick to make Juwan Johnson over Hunter Henry, because I was going to capitulate to the sidekick and say, you know what, I guess this is the Hunter Henry gene. But if the sidekick says Juwan Johnson, and my heart says Juwan Johnson, we're going Juwan Johnson. Yeah, and I think it's good to so back to this like Parker Washington thing. I think it's good to look at the other side of these arguments because it's not clear cut. I don't think, and that is probably the biggest. Oh, it didn't like pop my head up. I have to like go up here so you can see my face. But yes, like I think theoretically Parker could do it, and it's good to understand that's in the range of outcomes. But I'm not sure that you win a ton more as Jacksonville's number one in that crowded receiver room than you do as Addison being the number two. So it's interesting. I'm very much not a Parker Washington bro, so it's interesting. Actually, I don't know about this. Kyler struggled to throw touchdowns below league average rate many years running. Still have my doubts. Interesting. That is something we can just check. Let's see. Kyler, league average rate. I love just looking these things up. Oh wow! I'm glad that I did not type that in the window that y'all can see because I think I accidentally, instead of typing touchdown rate, TD rate, I asked for the league average STD rate for the NFL, which is very different question. Let me tell you. So it's looking around like 4 to 4.5% as a percentage, and then we go Kyler Murray, TD rate, and he is a little bit below. Like league average is somewhere between 4 and 4.5%, and he's somewhere between 3.8 and 4%. So that's a little bit low. No. So yes, no, you are not dumber than you thought. It is OBS is just an archaic, awful piece of software. It is so bad. It is terrible, dude. Like the free like janky StreamYard is so much easier to figure out. Yes, it is entirely possible. No, the league average STD rate is higher than Kyler's touchdown rate, but we don't. You don't need to worry about that too much. If you start using the STD rate of NFL players in your fantasy analysis, then I have, we've really circled the horse. That is some off-season content right there. That's something that we might be talking about, like right when the big board opens, like that. That's when we should be talking about the league's STD rate. We have a little bit more information now, a little more actual information to be looking at. Okay, this is crazy. So I don't understand the psychic sometimes. Aaron Rodgers, it was recommending to me before my last turn. It's like you have someone correlated with him. He's the third quarterback. Great. Now it's just tight end. Like it just believes that we're going to get shut out at tight end, I guess. And it's panicking. It is like, you must get a tight end or else it's going to be a disaster. Calm down, Mr. Sidekick. It'll be fine. We will be okay. I will say if Hawk's there, I'm probably going to take him. Just sort of believe in this Minnesota offense is that idea. And it can also be sort of a bet on something happening with Justin Jefferson. Rodgers isn't even my highest non-tight end. I didn't even check that. I mean, I do see Travis Hunter there, and I can imagine the Sims would be very excited to take Travis Hunter. I would be very excited to take Travis Hunter if I didn't already have 2 week 7 buys and a pretty solid receiver room. I would be pretty excited there. As it is, I'm of the opinion Brian Robinson rounds out this running back room pretty well. When we take all these 3 early running backs, I want running backs in the later rounds that can be good on their own, and even better if they have an injury in front of them. And I think if there's a Bijan injury, we got a we got Brian ready to take over a lot of the workload. And if we're not taking Bijan number one, we're already sort of betting on him not being great. And that can come at the expense of Brian Robinson. Best ball basics. That'd be that'd be a good name for a series. Best ball basics. Yeah. No, it's interesting. I like drafting with a sidekick. I think it is also really good to be like, what the hell are you doing to it sometimes? Because I think the sidekick, it's weird. The sidekick is not human, but it is very prone to panicking, I think. It is very prone to, especially at tight end, in my experience, it is very prone to being like, just take anything. Please, I need tight end points. And it's like, really? Do you really think that A.J. Barner is going to be so much better than Mike Gesicki or Charlie Kolar? Like, are you really confident in that? I'm not. And that's why I'm like, I'll just take whoever later. I'll get buddies in the tight end room. Like, I'll get a couple of people I know will start and a guy that's probably starting and maybe get some points. Like, whatever. It's fine. Who really cares that much? I just saw this in the chat. If yeah, I'll send Pat Crane a DM and see if he can add the STD rate into the ranks. That would be much appreciated. Nah, this Brandon Ayuk news. This Brandon Ayuk news. What is going on with this man? This man's insane. I think I just stumbled across. I don't know how long this has been public, but I just stumbled across something that was like, yes, Brandon Ayuk got told by Jane Daniels that he needs to behave if he's on the Commanders, like because he's on the Commanders now. Because as we all know, Brandon Ayuk has declared that he is on the Commanders now, despite no such transaction happening. And I think, if I remember correctly, Brandon Ayuk has decided to go off the deep end and rant about slavery and having Jaden Daniels be a problem. I think he unfollowed Jaden Daniels on something. I think it was Instagram. Yikes. Yeah, I think he has become more and more unclickable as the season's gone on. I think there was a point in time where he was still clickable, but we have long eclipsed that. Yeah, K. Dotton. Give me K. Dotton. Get a white guy with some motion. Well, not really. He doesn't really have any motion. Not anymore. I fear I do agree with the kick. I think this is the time for a little bit of rookie pizzazz in my receiver room. And we don't have like Dazon Stribling is just so much cheaper in this format. Like you go over to you're not like he's at what 193 we just saw. And then if I find Stribling here, where does he go? I know it's way higher. Yeah, a 20 pick ADP difference between the Eliminator format and a non-Eliminator format, which I get. Rookie wide receivers probably should have some decent amount of delta between their non-Eliminator and Eliminator formats because they're going to be backweighted, and that's better in those formats. But 20 picks is a lot, especially when it's the 33rd overall pick of the draft. Like, he doesn't have to wait. It's not locked in that he's going to wait. I don't know. I think he's a great pick. And I think he's a great pick specifically for this style of room. In a perfect world, we have a third quarterback, but no. So in that case, it's between. I think this is a tight end room that I wouldn't mind taking a fourth tight end for. Running backs feel very done. So it's either a receiver or a tight end. And I'm hoping to get another nice upside shot in the last round here. I'm going to go ahead and enter another Eliminator because I want to do a second one. And we had a little bit of trouble filling the first one. So let's, if we click this early, yeah, we're waiting for 8 people. So if you want to draft the Eliminator, please feel free and come draft with us. So hopefully we can get that filled up. So we're not just sitting around kibitzing for too long. It's nice to sit around and kibitz, but I'd much rather kibitz with a draft in the background. That makes everyone a lot happier, I think. But yeah, it's Sidekick is definitely where my brain is at. Wide receiver, tight end, rookie upside, sort of things. Feels like what we need to be doing here. What the hell is this guy doing? Burrow, Mayfield, McCaffrey, A-Chain, Swift. Oh, I can just go to here. He just went McBride. Oh, okay. It's one of these guys that goes into the Eliminators like, I can just take McBride and he's going to be good every week. And week 14, I just don't have a tight end score. That's crazy. And like was just really not secure in his wide receiver room, I guess. We're gonna take Cavante Turbin's interesting. But if Jalen Noel's still here, we're gonna try him. I think he's not exactly rookie upside, but he is potential second-year breakout. The more I hear about this Texans offense and exactly how it's going to work, the more I want to be diversifying my bets away from Tank Dell. I have a lot of Tank Dell. I think he's not necessarily a bad pick, but I think taking some last round Jalen Noel instead of some next to last round Tank Dell, not going to kill anyone. So yeah, we're still waiting on 8 for the Eliminator. I will say if we get it to fill before 1 o'clock Eastern, I'll go ahead and fire it. If we get to 1 o'clock Eastern and it hasn't filled yet, I'm going to just say that's going to be that and call it a night for the stream. I obviously would prefer to get both Eliminator 17 and 18 done, but sometimes not possible. So yeah, in the meantime, while we're looking at that, we're going to do some more little Dalmatian slows because I got 100 of these little shits to do. And there's always picks to be made. So here we started Bajan at 2, came back, took Nico and Rashi Rice. We're back. Kick says Waddle. My ranks say Waddle. I think Waddle is probably the best pick here. So we click on Waddle. Pretty simple. Not a lot of tossing and turning on that pick in my head. This one we started with CD, then went A-Chain, Javonte, Josh Jacobs, Byshell Tootin, Carnell Tate, and then Dak Prescott. And it's saying grab another quarterback. My mind is saying, why not Josh Downs? Like, what's the problem with Josh Downs here? What's the problem with Josh Downs here? ADP says Sutton. I'm not sure I love Sutton here. My highest on quarterback is to take another running. Like these guys just do not like Courtland Sutton and do not like these receivers in this range, which is fair. If I'm going to take a quarterback, Dart's not necessarily great for the week 17 because I already have Prescott. I think that's fine. Yeah. This one's a tougher pick. This is just like 7th, 8th, 9 rounds are just tough parts of the draft to navigate, especially when you have so much time to think about it and go back and forth and such. Where's the Jacksonville receivers? I swear to God. So Myers and Hunter haven't been taken. Is it reasonable that we get Myers? 106. Myers goes at 103 on average. It's a bit rough. All the stuff we said about Addison, it's possible Addison's the pick here. I don't get why Psychic is so quarterback heavy in this spot. Like, is it just not believing in Dak? I saw the draft pop up and I was like, huh? Did something happen in the Eliminator? No, that's just the fact that we're on so many freaking slows that, like Viper 70 says, spending our life on the clock. Yeah, it's definitely weird, like doing a bunch of slow drafts before I go to bed and like putting my phone down, and before I'm able to like fall asleep, I am hearing the slow draft buzz. I've had to turn off notifications from Underdog on my phone because it if I didn't, it would buzz so often. It's like my phone's out of battery because of how often it buzzes because of freaking slow draft notifications. It's absurd. Just absolutely absurd. Yep. Oh, and we just got another one. Oh joy. So I think it's between Lawrence, Addison, and Downs. I think if it was the Eliminator, I'd definitely go Downs. I think his production's probably a little bit front weighted, with Alec Pierce's return being managed probably, I'm guessing, at the beginning of the season. So, but he's a good player and he can be good at all points during the year. I think the more I think about it, the more I'm just like Addison. I've just been talking up Addison for a while, so it's hard for me to not be looking at his good attributes right now. So I think I will go ahead and grab Addison. And immediately after taking a receiver here, it's like, actually, you know what? You need more receivers. You know what? Quarterbacks don't need those. What's a quarterback? Never heard of him. Wild. Psychic just baffles my mind. So this one we started 2 running backs. McCaffrey, Devon Achane, came back with Zay Flowers, and then Josh Jacobs. And here it's saying Bucky probably like finishes this receiver room. Bucky's like a significant, like Bucky and DeAndre are like significant ADP fallers. Yeah, I'm happy with Bucky here. Like Bucky and Jacobs are both people that like dropped because of injury or health related news. And then everything's been good from what I understand on the Bucky Irving's health stuff and the Josh Jacobs, legal trouble stuff. And yet their prices have not rebounded in any meaningful way. Like we've just decided that this is where these guys should have been drafted all along, and I'm not sure I agree with that. Actually, I'm quite sure that I don't agree with that. We're in the 6th round here with Bucky as our only running back. Our receivers being Chase, Collins, Rice, and Luther Burden. And my rank says Pollard. ADP says Marvin Harrison or the quarterbacks. Why am I not taking Caleb Williams here? Is my question. Like this feels like the type of draft where I'd want to be taking Caleb Williams, push this running back thing a little bit. Like I'm not super convinced that these guys with their expensive running backs are going to want to click a bunch of running backs. And I think I can get these guys. I think they're much more likely to try and snipe me for no reason on Caleb Williams. So I'm going to grab Caleb Williams here. And feel pretty good about it. And then here, Bijan, Collins, Rice, Waddle. Guy at the turns goes Colston Loveland and by Shelton. And we're looking at Quinshawn, JMO, Vontae Adams, Bucky Irving. Bucky's good. I like Bucky here, even at this price. I'm not sure I like him over Adams. Yeah. I mean, 14 touchdowns. It's possible. It's possible to keep that. I don't know. Again, I think it's one of those things where it's like I just talked about Irving being mispriced earlier. I think he has really, really good upside potential. And at the end of the day, this draft's $1. It's $1. If I make a not suboptimal pick and it's $1, it's fine. How much EV am I really giving up? Cents. Literal cents. So we did all that. We're still waiting on 4 people for another eliminator. We got 4 minutes before it is 1 o'clock Eastern. So as long as we get a person a minute, we'll be firing that. That'll be good. I hope we get that to fill. That'll be nice and good. Ah. Darn, didn't work as well as last time. The staying silent did not help the number move as much as I was hoping. Maybe I need to like go look at different things. Remember last time I was looking at some like pick'ems and stuff. I did do some BBMs during the promotion thing. This one has a Jefferson, Devon Achane start, which is not great. It's like fine, whatever. All the other ones, I think, are elsewhere. Yep, there we go. Looking at other stuff. What is this best in show thing? I saw some posts about it on X, and I just don't understand. So this is like a leaderboard for daily drafts? Is that what it is? I guess. So is this guy got in $6 of entries, got 11 drafts in the top 1%? Like, is this correct? I don't know. This seems wackadoodle. It's also weird that it's on this tab, just for what, like, seemingly no reason. Like, maybe this will make sense when it's the middle of football season and I actually like do a couple of dailies and I can go, oh, okay, that's how this works. But yeesh. Whale leaderboard. Okay, underdog needs better. Underdog needs. Underdog needs better whales if you're only getting $425 out of your dog of the week. Underdog needs better whales than that. Like, come on. Like, I get that it's the off season for the 2 major sports that people gamble on. Like, I think baseball, people gamble on, but it's like sharps. Oh, caching entries. That makes sense. That makes more sense. Okay. Sure. I am now I'm now still a little bit confused. Where was the guy who had 6 entries that cashed, but 11 in the top 1%? This guy needs to stop entering winner takes all contests. This guy is a degenerate. If you're able to put 11 drafts in the top 1% and only cash in 6, that's wild. Maybe I guess like head to heads or something. I don't know. That's wild. But yes, how many caching entries? That was Peppertoni. That was not me coming up with that. Gotta, as they said in school, cite your sources. But yes, that makes more sense. Per caching entry, top 1% of the field. Yeah, crazy. All right, where are we at? We're still at 9. It's about to be the hour. It's not looking good. I may give it another 5 minutes just because I really want to get this done, but I don't want to be up at like 2 o'clock. I think that's a little bit late. That's true. Although, to be fair, if this was a best ball thing, I wonder how many people in our little baseball community would have, like, if there was a best in show for the baseball community, how many people would beat 434 caching entries? I think there would be multiple. I do not think I would be one of those people. I'm not even sure that I'm going to have 434 entries this baseball season. I meant, like, to have that as caching entries in a week is wild. The more that I think about it, that's insane. But yeah, no. We have to have some semblance of a life. I think that at least I think a lot of the best ball streamers and a lot of the people I talk to in the community like actually do seem to have lives, like pretty reasonable lives. I mean, we got PPR Tyler with enough of a life to be doing TikTok dances in his GNC work. I need to find myself a job that I can make TikTok dances and do random crap while at work, uh, and be that distracted for when I'm not on an acting gig. I need to figure out. I need to go to my local GNC. Although I don't think I look like someone who would work at a GNC. Although maybe with the like pulled back hair, I can fake it. I mean, you know, I think a part of that is a lot of the people, a lot of the streamers, like the influencers in the space, like have kids and a wife, and that makes it a lot easier to like force yourself to have a life outside of having this be everything. I'm saying doing dances on TikTok means that you have time, which means you have the opportunity to have a life. I think choosing to use that time on TikTok dances, you know, eh, maybe less reflective on how much of a life you have, especially when the TikTok dances are about fantasy football. But I mean, he has a chance. He has the opportunity to have a life, and isn't that what really matters? I mean, I don't think so. I'm sort of bullshitting there, but I think it is it is funny. I actually, strangely enough, as a certified young person, I think this is strange. I've never downloaded TikTok. Never had it. Never had like the old variants of it, like the Vines or anything like that. It's just like part of culture that just missed me. Which I think if you're over the age of 30, you'd be like, what the heck? That's things that miss a lot of us. But for a lot of the people that I talk to, at least a lot of the theater people, it's it's always very strange hearing all these references to Vines and TikToks, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah, those things, those are great. I'm sure that you really enjoy that. I hope you really enjoy it at least. Always funny when we have more slow drafts popping up before the Eliminator fills. Uh, says Josh Jacobs. Neighbors isn't going to be back and healthy by week 6, is he? There's no way Neighbors is back and healthy by week 6. Like, that seems very optimistic. So I don't think this is a Neighbors team, which means I think it's a Jacobs team. I'm going to like Garrett Wilson. Don't get me wrong. I think that he's a good pick, a good player. But are we really thinking that Garrett Wilson and Josh Jacobs are going to score the same amount of points over the course of the season? Like, last year it was what, 219 versus 81. 219 is higher than Garrett Wilson has scored in any year of his career. Yeah, I think it's Josh Jacobs. Oh, we got Hartman coming back. Good to see you, man. That went down really fast. There we go. Good to see you, my friend. I was saying earlier, it's good to have people that are coming back to the stream, especially these late nights in the chat. Love to see it. I am hoping that this Eliminator can fill. We are still waiting for 3 people, and I really want to get another draft on this stream. It's the second one, but I don't know if anyone in the chat is a Formula One person, but I have been in a Formula One fantasy league for the past couple of years with one of my acting friends and her family, and like her dad's business partner and stuff. So I have become invested in Formula One, and there is a race tomorrow at 7 o'clock local time, which is 9 hours from now, which means I need to be in my bed because I value my 8 hours of sleep in about an hour, which means I need this draft to fill right now, which is much more likely to happen now that we're only waiting for one person. So I think I'm just going to commit to getting the second one done. It'll be great. It's yes, I appreciate it. It'll be fun. I think that this is it's the 4th of July. I think a lot of us have had a few beers today. Although I will say, all of my drinking occurred. We had a little fair in the town that I was in, and all of my drinks would have been earlier. So I think this will be nice and fun. I'm trying to remember. I think DMH09. I believe that's you, Hartman. So it's good to see you in here. Don't see a ton of people who, other than that, I know no one from the last draft. Some no badgers at the 1-2 turn. That's going to be fun. Always lovely. That's, I think, the most interesting place to have no badgers because you really get to see what craziness might be happening at the end of these drafts. Great. I'm glad I remembered it. So many things that go on during these streams, so it's good to actually remember some of the bits and some of the people around it. All right, so we're in, so we'll just go into the draft. Yeah, it's 4 spots. Great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to complain getting one of these great players, but I think there is definitely a difference between the top 3 and everyone else, just because of the way the bye weeks line up in the second round. Like if you told me because of the way the bye weeks line up that it's better to be taking Lamb or McCaffrey or one of these non-week 11 bye receivers, I would absolutely believe you. I would say that is perfectly reasonable. Got our boy with a tough choice. Yep, between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ashton Jeanty. But this is the Eliminator. You break ties towards running backs. That's how we do it here. I think this is going to be nice. Yeah, we got James Cook there, so we didn't have the opportunity for No Badger to pull up Cook. Oh, this is good. Pretty standard start, I'd say, for the Eliminator. That's what I'm saying. Gotta get your O'Marion Hampton shares in this tournament. That early easy charger schedule. Gotta love it. Yeah, no, I'm just hoping that I'm not staring at Drake London, AJ Brown as my top 2. Well, I'm not going to be staring at Drake London and AJ Brown because AJ Brown goes to Mr. No Badge at the 2.2. Now, no one actually cares about this, but I do find it a little bit funny that we have AJ Brown going at the 14th pick with a week 11 bye, and CeeDee Lamb going at the 11th pick with a 14th week bye. Does that matter? Not in the slightest. Not even a little bit. Is it mildly funny to me? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people are. I guess people are wising up a little bit to the schedule mattering and who's got easy schedules. I mean, we're seeing the guys with easy schedules climb up a little bit, and you were seeing the guys with tougher schedules fall down a little bit. All right. Psychic says Brock Bowers. My ranks say Brock Bowers. Unfortunately, for both of those, I don't really want to draft elite tight end today. So we're going to take Nico Collins. I like Nico. I think that with all the confusion and I think all the randomness that's going on in the Texans receiver room behind Collins, it's fine to just scoop up who's going to be a very clear number one target on that team. And as I was saying last draft, I kind of want to put myself in an uncomfortable position in this draft. Like, try and really see if I can dig myself out of a hole, see how we can have different things going on instead of doing just the same standard. Take 3 running backs in the first 4 picks, feel really good about it, and then move on, which might actually be good for me because we've got a bunch of receivers going over on my left-hand side. So we are going to get one of these running backs that I'm happy taking at the 2-3 turn here at the 3-4, which feels nice. Obviously, I hope it is Breece Hall. It is not. We get Javonte. Just loading up on this guy, which is not a problem. Not a problem for me, especially in this contest. Late buy. Jaden Blue, not going to be anything at the beginning of the season, I hope. And I really think. So we just click the button. Here we go. Here's the running backs coming off. Although I will say, almost got a really nice fall. Back to you, Hartman. If you get Trey McBride at the 3.8, that's hard to turn down. I would be very hard pressed to turn down Trey McBride in the late 3rd round. Even though I'm not a huge Trey McBride guy, you know. He's got. I mean, there was a guy in the last draft that just took Trey McBride. That was his only tight end. He's like, who cares? Who cares about all this other nonsense that's going on? Trey McBride will carry me through the entire season. Do I think that's a good strategy? No. But someone did do it. Someone did do it. So we got Zay, though. Yeah, Zay is just as likely as any of these other receivers in this tier to be at the top. I really like him, especially when we got people so excited about the offensive coordinator. Man, we really did just let this guy get away with highway robbery here with Lamb, A.J. Brown, Jacobs. Not highway robbery, but like he dug his team out of a little bit of a with being able to get Jacobs there, I think. I really, really like Jacobs. Yeah, I'm not sure about Chris Olave and Emeka Ibuka, though. They're on the turn. Feels a little weak there with those guys. Feels a little bit weak. Feels a little bit like a reach. And like maybe he's going to have some running back problems later. To be fair, maybe I'm going to have some running back problems later. So something about stones and something about glass houses. Yeah, I think that McBride's an interesting case for me because I believe in his talent a lot, and I really do value that extra roster spot. But I don't know. I just think that these late round tight ends are such good clicks that it makes me less enthusiastic about these top tier tight ends because sure they can separate, but there's a difference between separating at the cost of Nico Collins and separating at the cost of Travis Etienne. So we're back on the clock. We got Mike Evans. I don't know about that. Quinshon Judkins is probably going to end up being the pick. I mean, Waddle's cool, but Luther Burden's nice. Yeah, we'll go Quinshon here. People are going to say this is an eliminator-ass pick, and they are probably correct. But he gets touchdowns, even though there's not a lot to be had of them in the Cleveland offense. Judkins gets a lot of the ones that are meant to be have. And, he's not going to be awful. Yeah, Jacoby's not exactly someone that I want to be super attached to either. I want to, and this is something that I think is, for me at least, specifically Eliminator focused. I think I'm much more open to the elite tight ends in, your BBM style contests because separating is so important and that's just an easy way to understand your separation. But I can't really talk too much bad about McBride because I think he may be one of my highest exposed tight ends. Yep, he is. That means I've had him in 5 drafts. To be fair, there's a lot of people I have. Like I have very specific tight end uh, allocations, and a lot of these prices are, I think, a little bit closer to where I would be like just reasonably happy taking him. Like I'm just gonna scroll down some of my rooms and see like what the price was on some of these Trey McBride shares. 23's a little bit early. 25 again, fine, but I'm not super excited about. 21. Yeah, no, these are like second round prices. So this is fair. Okay. This is the great thing about streaming all your drafts is you get to be accountable for your decision making in the earlier drafts and whether or not you agree with it later. Oh, and I auto drafted. That's cool. I thought I was on the other side of the board. Would I have taken Tootin there? I may have taken Waddle. I mean, obviously he was the top of my QV over my ranks, so I can't be too mad. And this actually, after starting 2 receivers, feels like a solid enough 3 running backs. It's not the last running back room, but certainly not bad. Let's make sure that we don't get autopilot turned on. So we'll manually turn it on and off. This guy on the edge, really not loving his running backs. He's really not loving his running backs. I don't really care. I think Tyler Warren's a great pick. Because these are tight ends where it's like I'm getting similar upside to Bowers and McBride. I don't know if I believe that. I'm getting a lot of upside. I'm getting a lot of interesting upside. In better offenses, I just have to accept that they're lower down the totem pole in terms of targets on their team. Versus Bowers and McBride are going to be the clear number ones on their team, in my opinion. Ranks say it's almost certainly going to be a running back here, which I think is probably reasonable. Even by ADP, it's almost certainly a running back here. I will say, this is wild. So I don't really like. Yeah, I'm like I don't really like Jadarian Price, but if I'm getting him at this cost, I kind of have to click him. My ranks say Ramondre. I think just with the bye week, I'm gonna dodge that and go for Drake May instead. I know it's still a week 11 bye, but it's not a week 11 bye at the running back position. And these things tend to even out. I'd say across position groups, but within position groups, it's a little bit more important to not screw yourself over. You're just opening yourself up for actual zeros instead of just like diminished scores. And there's a big difference between zeros and diminished scores. Yeah, I mean, it is a very classic sidekick moment to be having Drake May at the top of the sidekick, draft Drake May. But, he's a good rushing quarterback. I want to be taking a lot of rushing quarterbacks in the Eliminator. Just partially because I think they project really well, and partially because it means I don't have to worry about stacking. They can get there multiple ways, and it's less likely their floors are going to be higher, which feels good in this format. Yeah, this guy shouldn't be taking DK Metcalf, although I'm sure now that I've said that they will. They did not though. So I will grab my boy DK Metcalf. I believe in the Steelers. I believe in the Steelers to be able to support 1 to 2 receivers with Mike McCarthy. And DK Metcalf is going to be the 1 or the 2 receivers. I hope. Mike McCarthy's fine at his job, and the talent there is fine. So the offense will be fine to fine plus, and that'll be great. That'll be really awesome. At this cost, at least. Yeah. This is starting to be comfy again, but at the end of the day, if it's not uncomfy, it's not the worst thing in the world. It just means that we know what we're doing. We got the Justin the Lad stack here. We got the week 7 buys out in full force today for Mr. Hartman. But that's a good team, I will say. Like if you're getting good stuff out of Herbert and Ladd, I do like the team there. Yeah, I guess part of it is getting that giant fall on Saquon at the beginning of the draft really helps you worry about running back less. You know, you can just focus on your wide receivers and your quarterback and everything that's not the running back because you've locked that up. Okay, that's too much. That is too much Makai Lemon. I like Makai Lemon. I agree that he's mispriced. That's too much. Let's see. Alec Pierce. Yeah, this guy. Eliminator ass pick. Eliminator ass pick. Schedule merchants. Blake Corum. Yep. Yep. Pretty reasonable. I still have 0% Corum in this contest. Something that I'm not, like, standing by. Let's be clear. I'm not taking a huge stand on Corum, but, you know. I don't want to be taking Makai Lemon on all these teams, but it's hard not to. When I get him 7 picks past ADP, I think he should be ranked above ADP. Like, there's a 10 ranking spot value between him and the next guy on my list. Like, he's just going to be the wide receiver 2 for the Eagles, almost certainly. Like, I don't know. I think he's going to be good at his job. It's going to be good. Yeah, it's like I like him. I think he's really good, and I have to take him after ADP. 7 spots past ADP. So I shouldn't be complaining about that. I should be excited. Yeah, that's exactly right, McNola. It's like I still need to be taking him after ADP if I believe in the player and the talent, which I do. I just need to trust that I'm not going to get him if I don't draft him ahead of ADP. Yeah, I think the double stacking is probably a bit much in this contest. Like I don't. If I have double stacks, they're late double stacks. I think Ladd plus Herbert plus QJ is a bit too heavy of a double stack, at least for me to be comfortable with. Yeah, I think I like Rachaad White here. I agree with the sidekick. I don't want to be taking another quarterback here. I don't think that's structurally correct. So snapping up Rachaad White feels good. But yeah, I think, Chargers play a bad, Chargers play a bad matchup. Chargers play a bad team. Or week 7 rolls around. And that just feels really bad for you. Yes, a lot of these, like, high price stacks and double stacks, just steer clear, in my opinion. You don't have to do it. Like if it falls to you and you're just really excited about all the players, like it's not the worst thing in the world, but you don't need to do it. It's fine just the way it is. It's okay. It'll be okay. But nah, I'm pretty happy. I think with how both of our drafts are going, which is not always the case. Trying to see if there's anyone that's gone crazy. I don't think so. No one doing, solo Trey McBride build. Anything crazy like that. Yeah, I think the 12 hole is making some decisions that I disagree with, but not something I consider crazy. It's a lot of tight end capital and a lot of quarterback capital out of the 11 hole as well. I'm not sure about that. Like you can spend capital on one of the two positions, but I don't know. Those receivers don't look super solid, and those running backs don't look super solid. J.K. Dobbins gets injured. Tony Pollard is just like mid, and you're relying on Josh Jacobs, who's I think a good pick, but it's a lot to rely on, I think. Kyle Pitts. I was a big Pitts guy last year. I think his price has adjusted pretty well for what happened last year, but I think a lot of what was going on with him last year was people being emotionally frustrated with Kyle Pitts and having that cloud their judgment of him as a player. So I'm glad to not have to be super in on him this year. I think Wandale's just fine. We need to keep building up this receiver room. Wandale feels like a perfectly reasonable click here. Don't need to be worried about stacking too much in this contest. If Dobbs comes back to me, I'll probably take him. But I think Wandale's a slightly better points play. So we just stay there. It's great. I will say I appreciate everyone coming in who's commenting, who's liking the stream. It is legitimately very much appreciated. I want to keep on working on this stuff, and having people come in and do both of those things makes my job easier, and also makes me feel like people are more interested. So just want to say a quick thank you. Yeah, I think the Pitts price feels fair. Is where I'm at. It's not something that I can attack like I feel like I was doing last year. Like I liked the Pitts price last year. I thought it was too cheap. This year I think it's fair, which is annoying because I don't like my prices being fair. I like people doing weird and crazy things that allow me to get an advantage. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Yeah. Now again, this wide receiver room feels really, really good now. And we just gotta cobble together. We're gonna need 2 more quarterbacks almost assuredly, and cobble together some tight ends, and it'll be fine. It'll be great. Though I will say I agree with Laporta over him. I'm not necessarily a huge Laporta guy either. I've been a big Fannin guy. I just think that if the Browns are good and score more touchdowns, that Fannin has a lot more upside than Laporta or Pitts. Like Pitts was dealing with was like the Atlanta offense is almost certainly going to be worse than it was last year in my mind. That's a lot of tight end capital. Holy Kraft and Laporta and Likely. That's a lot. I don't know about that. But anyways, what I was saying is I think that Fana just has a long way to go and has been so productive, even in a bad offense, that if we swap, like, if last year's Atlanta's offense is this year's Cleveland's offense, I think it is a lot better for Fannin. He can break out, be really good. Yeah, I mean, every year. Let me get myself in the frame again. Every year, the pricing just gets better, and the edges become smaller, which is really annoying, especially as someone who's breaking into this, later than a lot of other people. I maybe I'm part of the problem. I'm sure I am part of the problem, but like I don't really remember these times that people talk about where it's like, oh, you used to be able to get really cheap quarterback threes and Travion and Ramondre Gap. I mean, last year had some of that, so I do get some of it, but I definitely have less understandings of the good old days than many, which is sad. So a couple of receivers go. Psychic says Kincaid. I think Kincaid by margin here is where I'm at. We need a tight end and we need a quarterback. I stand by my rankings of Bryce Young and Aaron Rodgers being pretty darn similar. Pardon me. I'd be happy with either one of them. And I'd be surprised if both of them go before my next pick. And then we may do a third quarterback that's, one of these shitty guys. So I will say, being surprised if both of them go. Not a great start to see Bryce Young immediately go after my pick. That doesn't feel great. We got Williams, Judkins, Tootin, White. Do we need a fifth running back? Probably. It's probably a bit early to be looking at it though. Is my mindset. Yeah. Yeah, I can stand on that. I think it's a bit early to be looking at it. How's quarterbacks looking on this side? People have just been like a bit quarterback happy in this room. I think I'm just gonna lock in Rodgers. Like I could go Henry, get the tight end. Nah, we'll go Aaron Rodgers. I think this is a team that I'm pretty happy with, so I don't want to risk it being a dud to people just sniping me left and right on quarterbacks. Like May and Rodgers is enough of a quarterback room that I'm not like, no matter what else is happening with the rest of the team, this is a disaster. I think if I get stuck with, May Gino or May Mendoza and like an Atlanta boy, that would be an actual disaster. Yeah. Now these quarterbacks, I miss the quarterback price. I miss Jaden Daniels rookie year pricing. I remember that being absurd. Yeah. I mean, we could legitimately be having it with Mendoza. Like, Nix was a round 16 to 18 pick as a rookie. You know who's pretty darn close to that? Fernando Mendoza. It's not quite there. 171. What is that? The 14th round? Which, I mean, at that point, like, it's not that different. Was it 177 is, yeah, like the 14th or 15th round. You know. To be fair, this is the Eliminator. I'm sure his price is a little bit depressed here compared to BBM's, but still, I think Mendoza has the opportunity to be that guy because he's very Knicks like in that way, where it's like, yeah, he should be the starter if not week one, pretty soon. Afterwards, he's got a little bit of juice with his legs. The team's supposed to be like upgraded this year, but not like totally in it. Like it's very similar in situation to rookie year Knicks, at least in my mind. I think that makes me a little bit more bullish on Mendoza than my mental model was earlier. I think because we know Nick started week one, that makes it easier to be bullish. I think if we knew Mendoza was starting week one, it would be a lot easier to draft him a little bit earlier and be like slightly over your skis about him. I swear, people are just becoming woke to Dalton Schultz, and it makes me sad, makes me annoyed. Psychic says you need a tight end. After all this Fernando Mendoza talk, I might just do Fernando Mendoza. Say screw the price, screw what my team needs. We grab the Doza. I think we will. Round 14, end of round 14, which I think is a perfectly fine price on this bet. And now I'm not worried about my quarterback room at all. I'd like another running back. And these tight ends, I can get these tight ends whatever the heck I want. I can get my AJ Barners and K Dottons of the world whatever the heck I want. And I do need 2 of those because we all know Kincaid is going to have some great weeks, but Kincaid is also going to randomly have that week where he has 50% routes run, 2 targets for 1 catch and 7 yards. And it's going to be awful. And Dalton Knox is going to score 2 touchdowns. Because of freaking course he is. Why wouldn't he? Okay, I was starting to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I guess I just, even though I don't really need the receiver yet, I do need to take Travis Hunter if he falls to me at pick 172. So here it's determining between running back 5 or if we start the tight ends. And I don't want to have this little of Dulcich. I think people are getting a little bit frothy on Dulcich. So I'm going to go ahead and also get frothy on Dulcich. Like if everything I've been reading is saying that he is like actually the number 1 target in Miami, like straight up the number 1 target. Now I don't believe that, but I do believe that he's going to be good. Or I'm not even sure I believe that he's going to be good. I believe that he's going to be on the field, and I think he's going to be relevant. And I think that's about as much as I can say for, Freiermuth and K. Dotton. So I think he should go around those guys. And I have 3 times as much K. Dotton and Freiermuth as I do Dulcich. So time to sprinkle him in. Oh, we got someone else here. Draft in the 9 slot. Gotta love it. Glad that you were here to help us fill it out. Let's take a look at the team. So St. Brown, Walker, Scatabo, T-Mac, DJ Moore, Tate, Godwin, Gainwell, Goff and Mayfield, stacking up those quarterbacks. Cam Ward. Yep, this feels like a very comfy draft. This feels like, just looking at this feels very comfortable until you look at the running back room. Like putting a lot of weight on Scatabo being 100% early and him and Walker not having any down weeks. But this quarterback room looks really nice. I'm assuming you're taking a 3rd tight end, and that's going to feel comfortable. And these receivers feel really good. So, you just got to pray at running back. No, I cannot. That's the problem. Is I cannot make a case for anyone else. My best case is, maybe Debo signs there and is the number 1 target. Like, I'm not even sure I can name you the 3 receivers that are going to start on the Dolphins. What's it going to be? Like Malik Washington. They got Jalen Tolbert, I think. I remember they got Caleb Douglas, and it was one of those rookie receivers that we were drafting. It was either Chris Bell. Something. Let's take a look. Yeah, it was Chris Bell and Jalen Tolbert. Okay, I was right. Those are your 3 receivers that are at the top of the drafts, and then Caleb Douglas, Kevin Coleman. Oh, I think I vaguely know this guy. Theo Weiss, I've heard of. Tutu's on the team. Yeah, he's gonna run routes probably. Jalen Raker. Wow, a lot of has-beens on this roster. There's been pretty bearish news on Stowers, so I'm okay with not taking him here. Says dribbling. Nah, we'll just go Tank Bixby. Trust in my ranks. Trusting the 15 pick ADP faller. I think that's pretty simple. George Holani. Yep, that is the running back of a man who needs early season running back production and is hoping. Is hoping. Yeah, Chris Bell with the torn ACL. Yeah. I I knew there was a reason that I wasn't thinking about him because he's not going to play. Secret weapon for tight end of the 18th. Okay, I'm gonna write down what I think your secret weapon is, because I'm done at I'm not done at tight end, but I'm not gonna snake you of your secret weapon or who I think may be your secret weapon. But I do want credit for being right if I am right. So we'll we have that written down, and if I'm correct, then I think that'll be very funny, and that's the goal, is to have a good time and be funny. Undraftable player alert. Undraftable player alert. I wonder if I can actually get through a draft without anyone drafting Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if that's happened to me yet, but it should. Man, are you really making me take Jerry Jeudy? It's 196. I do need a 7th receiver. Fine, I'll take Jerry Jeudy. Fine, whatever. He's points. He is points. He is almost certainly points. And it's hard for me to resist 2 full rounds of ADP value. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now I might need a secret tight end weapon of my own with this tight end room. Yeah, he is. I talked about it a little bit earlier on the stream. Like this is insane. Like all this stuff with Jane Daniels and just like doing the whole like I declare that I'm on the Commanders thing is just, yeah. I think as you get more information that he is an absolutely insane person and has no interest, it seems, in playing football, you gotta get off the train. Because I think I was decently on the train. Let's see, completed pre-draft best ball. Let's see how much I got ahead in pre-draft best ball. Never mind. I was not in on Brandon Ayuk at all. That kind of tracks. You know, this is why I look these things up, because I don't remember my exposures. I have no clue whether or not I was out or in on Brandon Ayuk in the pre-draft stuff. I'm sure that this exists somewhere, but I wish there was a thing that like could consolidate all of my post-draft exposure between like the Superflex and the other contest, just to like sort of get like how much I care about all these players. Less of a like price dictated thing and more of a just like, oh, I kind of want to see. Yep. Ta-da! I'm glad I got it correct. Let me see if this shows up. Does it? Yeah, I think it does. I did write it down. You know, it's gonna be like we've heard stories about Mr. Eric Hall. One of my favorite late round picks, Rashad Bateman. Oh yeah. Oh wow, we got the Baltimore, the no Lamar Baltimore Giga stack. I guess it's only 2, so reasonable. Yeah. I think we just go Parkinson. He had 8 touchdowns last year. Probably going to continue to be a key part of this Rams offense, and the offense is going to be good. So I don't hate this tight end room. Receivers look good. Running backs look good. I think this is I think we got 3 of the 6 people that'll make it out of the pods here, and I do legitimately believe that. I think these are good teams. I think that I think Chris really did fix his running back room. Those are two good later picks, especially Helani. I'm less in on James Conner, but I think that we've got a good set of teams here. I'm going to just quickly recap mine, and I think that's going to be the end of the night for me. So we got Drake May, Aaron Rodgers, and Fernando Mendoza at quarterback after some lengthy Fernando Mendoza talk. At running back, we got Javonte Williams, Quinshon Judkins, Byshel Tootin, Rashad White, and Tank Bigsby. At receiver, we got Nakua, Collins, Metcalf, Mekhi Lemon, Wandale Robinson, Romeo Doubs, and Jerry Jeudy, 2 rounds past ADP. And finish up with tight ends of Kincaid, Dulcich, and Parkinson. Yeah, this was another fun one. I think this was definitely one of my better streams. Had some good laughs here. Had some good fun in the chat. So gonna try and keep this energy moving forward. And so thank you guys for showing up. And I will see you all later. Bye-bye.